let's talk about the energy debate. We were talking about this a little while ago. Something I feel quite passionate about, and I've got screamed at, or in the comments on some online thing trying to explain this. This is one of the problems, and maybe it's a feature, but Bitcoin is not the easiest to understand in a 5-minute conversation. I always say trying to convert someone to a Bitcoiner is like getting someone to change their religion. It's not going to happen overnight. They need to go on a self-proclaimed journey of discovery on their own. But as you can go so deep in the rabbit hole. I mean, I just first discovered Bitcoin in 2016 and, went and got so many people into it. And still now, I'm still listening to the podcast and watching the YouTube videos and still learning more and more and more. But got absolutely slighted the other day by, well, no one important, trying to say that the that the energy debate was not as it seems.
Well, they're important enough to lead us to a good conversation. So there you
exactly.
go. Let's give them a little bit of credit. So look, you raised two interesting ideas. Okay, let me address the first one, even though it's not directly your question. So I believe, look, I have my private clients supporting my life in order that I can publicly educate and advocate for crypto and for blockchain. So we need to reach our audience. And you can do it through a megaphone like YouTube or writing. You can also do it one-on-one. I strongly believe in what I call the Johnny Appleseed approach to crypto adoption, which is when I meet random people, and I did this in Argentina, I do this everywhere. When I meet random people, okay, I have them install a wallet on their phone or their computer, and I'll send them, say, $25 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. And I have them physically go through that exercise and recognize the fact that they didn't have to put in their ID. They didn't have to do KYC. They didn't have to ask EMS permission. They didn't even have to put in their name. And they just got $25 worth of Bitcoin from a complete stranger that they met eating asado in Argentina. Then suppose I met a couple, I give it to the husband. Then I have the wife install the wallet, and I have the husband transfer 10 of those dollars or 15 of those dollars, depending on their relationship, from him to her. So they get the experience of receiving Bitcoin and transmitting Bitcoin. There's lots of, I can't name the studies, but there's lots of human experience showing, there's I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. Okay? I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. The way to have someone grok something, to use a Heinlein term, is to have them do it. Okay, when they do it, the brain will fill in the gaps, maybe not immediately, but later. So the Johnny Appleseed approach is to have people install wallets and receive a little bit of Bitcoin. Then then it's not hypothetical anymore. It's not words. Then you can backfill in, hey, what actually happened? I've had a bunch of these conversations. So what I'd encourage you to do, depending on how generous you feel like, you don't have to. The problem is, when you get low Bitcoin amounts, the fees get expensive.
The fees, I know. No, but it's a great idea.
If you're getting a moderate windfall, this is an extremely effective tool, and people are grateful, and it opens up the conversation, and it's not hostile, and they don't glaze over because they just got money. I mean, who doesn't want to receive money?
Sure, absolutely. But I think, as you said, when you explain to people that Bitcoin is completely decentralized, completely trustless, permissionless, with self-custody, no one can take it away from you. Yes, you have the added responsibility of keeping your keys there. But, another friend of mine said to me when I learned that Bitcoin was the bank of the unbankable, for millions in places like Africa. I mean, I'm here in Brazil, okay? And
are you?
Yeah, I'm in Brazil. Yeah, I've been here for a little while. I
didn't even know that. Fantastic.
So an awful lot of people here do not have bank accounts, but the Brazilian government created their own, I hate to say central bank digital currency, but it's very, very similar. It's a super simple app. It's called Pix, okay? And you can use it for absolutely everything, anywhere. And you can I could be stopped at traffic and some guy could come up and try and sell me strawberries, and I can pay, with this digital currency. It's not on the blockchain, but it's still the same thing.
It's digital.
It's digital.
100% digital.
But it's not decentralized. And, but they got this to like 200 million users in like 2 years. And sometimes it has 100 million transactions in a day. It's incredible. but and we can get into, when you come back the next time, we can get into CBDCs and all of that sort of stuff. But when people really understand Bitcoin and what it is,
I just talked about it yesterday. We can do it now if you want.
Unfortunately, I've got to go because I got another
Okay,
one.
fine,
But let's go into it. But I mean, that's it. And I think you're absolutely right. Everyone who is, on board like us should be finding another person every couple of days and sending them a small amount. With Lightning, it's super quick, it's super slow. I think there's things that have to be solved there. But I'm certainly a big advocate. Like yourself, I want to enable my day job to go out there and advocate for crypto, blockchain, Web3, and everything like that, because it's something I'm super passionate about.
Well, I applaud you, and let me at least
and you.
Oh, thank you. Let me at least address the point you just made. So it's great that Brazil has that, and it's great that in China you don't need to use cash and you can pay with WeChat and all this other stuff. You can be sure that the competitive threat being posed by cryptocurrencies prompted those governments to take that approach, and they prompted banks to through Wise and Revolut and the rest of them to up their service and not take 20 years and $5,000 to send a wire, because there's a competitive threat and competition's good. So even if Bitcoin doesn't become the world currency, this is what I mean. The fact it's there and things like it are there and gaining in popularity puts pressure on existing systems to A, keep them more honest, and B, make them better. Yeah. So we help humanity by making a competitive threat to lazy, institutionalized forces, and then they can have an opportunity to have a renaissance and become better. If there's perfectly reliable fiat that doesn't inflate and does everything we're talking about and works on your phone or chip in your head, fine, great, yalla.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen. Amazing.
No, it's not going to happen.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really glad that